This year, I got to meet with a group of American heroes, Red Warriors, 1st Battalion, 12th Infantry Regiment, of which I am a member. I am a Red Warrior. Special thanks to Tom Heston for contacting me and making it possible for me to attend my first reunion. This was the first time in 45 years that I had come in contact with anyone from my unit. The first time since I left the jungles of South Vietnam. While in San Antonio at the reunion, I had a wonderful time. It was an emotional time, but I took time out to interview 3 members from my squad, and I wanted to know if they felt the same way I did. I'm very proud to be a Red Warrior, so I put the same question to them.
Well, I went over with the 9th, and I still have a little allegiance to that unit because I trained mostly with them. However, it was in Kansas, which is about as flat as a tabletop. And after several months, that oxymoron group of the military called military intelligence, they figured out, well, let's see, the whole 9th Division came in together, and so the whole 4th Division came in together. We can't be transferring 2 divisions at the same time, so they started infusing people. And I always said they confused people rather than infuse, but what it was they took people from the 9th, sent them to the 4th, 4th to the 9th, the 1st, just so they wouldn't rotate all at the same time. And everybody would say to me, well, you're going up to the Central Highlands. And I said, you know, I don't know how that's going to be, but we'll find out. And as it turned out, I always think it was the best thing to happen to me because the 9th Division was too close to villages and populations and very nerve-wracking kind of situation like that. And 4th Division was up in the jungles, in the mountains, and there was no question about where your targets were. And I got used to the hills after a while. It took me a while to build those calf muscles up, but it all worked out well. I'm just glad that I finished my Army career with the 4th Division Red Warriors because I felt a comradeship up there that I didn't feel in the 9th Division. Even though most of the guys there were from my old neighborhoods, you know, all mostly Italians, names ending in vowels, you know, never thinking that I'd get off a hot LZ and land next to a guy who was from the same hometown. So you never know what your fortunes and fate's going to be. And I just feel damn lucky that my career ended with the Red Warriors.
Well, to be perfectly honest with you, I really didn't give it much thought until I arrived at the first reunion. And having read some of the history, the past history of the Red Warriors throughout the history of the United States, the lineage, the great battles they were in, they always did the country proud. In the Revolutionary War, the Spanish-American War, the Indian War, the Civil War, World War II, Vietnam, and now you guys are in Afghanistan, and I know you guys were in Iraq, and you've done it just as good a job as we could have done. It's got a great history, and I'm really proud to be a Red Warrior. And like Al said, you know, everybody's under the opinion. Take Vietnam, for instance, because that's the most knowledge I have of what goes on. And I know percentages have changed with the Army nowadays. But in Vietnam, it was a 9-to-1 or 8-to-1 ratio as far as logistics to the combat individuals. So if you had 500,000 guys over there was only 50,000 of us doing the fight. And 50,000 spread over a country like half the size of Texas is not a lot of people to have to do a whole lot of work. And I know the same is true for Afghanistan and Iraq. I know it's down to maybe 3-to-1, and but still there's maybe 125,000 guys doing all the fighting. And I feel that we're a unique band of guys, a unique bunch of individuals. The combat veteran is a combat veteran. You know, not to degrade what the other guys did, but and in some situations like Iraq and Afghanistan now, everybody's in danger. In Vietnam, wasn't so much everybody was in danger. The guys in the rear and the guys in the rear fire bases and stuff, yeah, they were attacked, but the bases were so huge that the enemy actually stayed away from them. It was us guys that were out in the jungle. And in the 4th and in the 1st of the 12th, more than anything, we had a saying, when you went out, you stayed out. We stayed in the jungle. We didn't come back every week or 2 weeks. We stayed in the jungle, and we got resupplied by helicopters. And if it was rainy and foggy and too hot to get the airlift that they needed, we didn't get resupplied. You know, you tell people stories like sometimes we didn't get food for a week. And when we did get food, it was enough food for 2 weeks. We had to carry 2 weeks worth of food. And we weren't carrying MRIs. We were carrying sea rations. And the same thing goes for clothes. Change of clothes? Yeah, we used to get to change clothes maybe once a month. A shower? Yeah, if we came upon a river or something and we felt it was safe enough to secure it, we got wet. And the worst, what would happen, we had a chance to fill our canteens because we didn't get water until we got resupplied. And that was every 6 days. So whatever they resupplied us, we had to carry 6 days worth of everything, including ammunition and so it was, you know, I mean, I'm a little guy. It was a little tough on me. I mean, it was tough on everybody. I mean, you see two guys sitting next to me, they put on some weight now, but you could see through them when we were there. You know, this guy's a couple, 200 and change, like 150. Him, probably about the same, you know, 125, 130. I was 117. I mean, I'm not that much bigger than that now, but I'm healthy looking, you know, and
you always tell a jungle vet by the length of showers that he takes.
Yeah, that's the other thing. My wife says, where did you get that? You know, how come you always spend an hour in the shower? I said, well, because there was times I went a month and a half, 2 months without a shower.
Until it rained.
Until it rained. And then when it rained, it never stopped. So there is a difference in the combat vets. And as far as being proud of being part of the Red Warriors 1st and the 12th, I've come to appreciate it. After our 3rd reunion, you get a little bit of knowledge each reunion, and it really makes you feel great.
I remember a class in basic training about esprit de corps, I believe they talked about it. And I didn't really understand until I got to the 4th Infantry Division. And I still didn't understand because they didn't have time to sit me down and say, here, read this, like when you go on the job.
They didn't have time to teach you how to read.
Right.
That's what you meant.
That's right. Well, they teach me how to read first. But sit down and read this when you get a job, and this is about the company history. We want you to know where we've been and where we're headed. But I said, you know, they send you to the field, and I didn't even know they had a 4th Infantry Division National Association. Although I think they took money out of my check, but I agree with what Larry said about taking long showers because I've told people before I go out of my way to find somewhere to wash my hands because nobody has to be dirty in this country. That's my attitude, you know. And I didn't have a choice at one time. I couldn't wash my hands. So it's one of those things where you live through all that stuff and you learn to appreciate things that you have, things that you'll have when you get back here. But as far as being a Red Warrior, I really don't know anything else. I suppose if I'd been in the 1st Cav, I'd probably be whatever they are. But like I say, until I went to my first reunion, I really didn't understand. I thought Red Warrior was somebody just picked out a name one day and gave it to us. I didn't know we were actually been that for 100 years or whatever it's been. So, yeah, I'm proud to be a Red Warrior. If I had to do it again, I'd do it all over again. It's a scary thought, but I'd do it all over again.
One thing I remember is that a friend of mine rode up from the Delta and asked me what things were like up there. I hadn't been there a couple months. And I said, compared to the Delta, the life expectancy up here is like that of a double cheeseburger in a foxhole. So that gave me an idea what the combat was like down in the Delta as compared to North Vietnamese regulars up in the Central Highlands and close to the Cambodian and Laotian border where the Ho Chi Minh Trail came back in for resupply and men and equipment. So that's what I remember, being a little leery about how much actual contact we were having and the type of soldier we were fighting as opposed to the Viet Cong down south. That made a big difference.